Hello. Okay, we'll continue on. This year, 1933, is for me an especially solemn year, because in this Jubilee year of the Lord's Passion, I have taken my perpetual vows. I have joined my sacrifice in a special way to the sacrifice of the crucified Jesus, in order to thus become more pleasing to God. I do all things with Jesus, through Jesus, in Jesus. After perpetual vows, I stayed in Krakow throughout the month of May, because it was undecided whether I was to go to Rabka or to Vilnius. Once Mother General asked me, "Why are you sitting here so quietly and not getting ready to go somewhere, sister?" I answered, "I want to do God's pure will. Wherever you bid me to go, dear Mother, I will know God's pure will for me will be there, without any admixture on my part." Mother General replied to this, "Very well." The next day she summoned me and said, "You wanted to have God's pure will, sister, very well. Then you are going to Vilnius." I thanked her and awaited the day when I would be told to go. However, my soul was filled with a certain joy and fear at one of the same time. I felt that God was preparing great graces for me there, but also great sufferings. Yet I stayed on in Krakow until the 27th of May. As I had no regular duties, I only went to help in the garden. And as it happened that I worked all alone for the whole month, I was able to make a Jesuit retreat. Although I went to community recreation, I still managed to make the Jesuit retreat. I received much light from God during this time. It was 4 days after my perpetual vows. I was trying to make a holy hour. It was the first Thursday of the month. As soon as I entered the chapel, God's presence enveloped me. I was distinctly aware that the Lord was near me. After a moment, I saw the Lord all covered with wounds, and he said to me, "Look at whom you have espoused." I understand the meaning of these words and answered the Lord, "Jesus, I love you more when I see you wounded and crushed with suffering like this than if I saw you in majesty." Jesus asked, "Why?" I replied, "Great majesty terrifies me. Little nothing that I am, and your wounds draw me to your heart and tell me of your great love for me." After this conversation, there was silence. I fixed my gaze upon his sacred wounds and felt happy to suffer with him. I suffered, and yet I did not suffer, because I felt happy to know the depths of his love, and the hour passed like a minute. I must never judge anyone, but look at others with leniency, and at myself with severity. I must refer everything to God, and my own eyes recognize myself for what I am: utter misery and nothingness. In suffering, I must be patient and quiet, knowing that everything passes in time. This is written August 5th, 1933, the Feast of Our Lady of Mercy. Today I received a great and incomprehensible grace, a purely interior one, for which I will be grateful to God throughout this life and in eternity. Jesus told me that I pleased him best by meditating on his sorrowful passion. And by such meditation, much light falls upon my soul. He who wants to learn true humility should reflect upon the passion of Christ. When I meditate upon the passion of Jesus, I get a clear understanding of many things I could not comprehend before. I want to resemble you, O Jesus, you crucified, tortured, and humiliated. Jesus, imprint upon my heart and soul your own humility. I love you, Jesus, to the point of madness. You who were crushed with suffering as described by the prophet Isaiah, as if he could not see the human form in you because of your great suffering. In this condition, Jesus, that I love you to the point of madness. O eternal and infinite God, what has love done to you?